release up inside. Go around the outside. Your release to the right should all be determined by where you see color from Aiden Hutchinson showing. Right there.
Expecting him maybe to go outside, I think the tackle was, but instead the power rush. And that's just Vita Vea just being him. I mean, there's no chance. And the thing is, Bijan Robinson's known for his ability to pick up the...
Max Crosby just, it's a stunt, it's a game. The ET game.
This is a great job. Watch 49. He's going to come in and just blows that whole thing up. He knocks Luke Musgrave right back.
Oh, look at this move outside and then back inside. Set him up and then get inside of him. I mean, that is against a really good left tackle.
A great burst off the line of scrimmage. Just rips through and
one here today. And a loss of 12.
Career year, 17 sacks last year. And I really...
to the middle of the pocket. This is what you deal with when you're a great rusher. And the only way to overcome that, he has no help. See the right guard, he's covered. That's a reach block trying to get to the perimeter on that zone.
On it. There's a flag down in the secondary. This may go on Pittsburgh.
Yeah, you'll see Kyle Pitts has to do a better job getting a chip on him. He's supposed to reroute TJ Watt onto the tackle. We'll come back to that here.
This is an outstanding job. This is one of the best run defenders and...
I haven't talked about him, but this is a mountain of a man. He is the best, if not one of the best defensive tackles in the game. I know Chris Jones, the Kansas City Chiefs, everyone talks about him.
A man amongst boys right here. Look like Mack at 33 years old.
On the edge, he's going to fight through Colby Parkinson. Then he's got to work his way through Havenstein. That just tells me receiver.
Pass rush with Granderson. What a phenomenal player he is. Just over.
And he just took off on him. Late start for McClendon.
I don't even know. Here's Watt coming off the edge. Did he? I don't know if he even touched him.
Yeah, they are, and why not? Because as a quarterback, Caleb Williams, this is a quick screen out there. They tried to block him with Komet.
And then the other part, Levi Onwuzurike. Look at, there's 91. He's coming free.
And now brings down Smith again. And Keon White, he's going to be a problem for years to come because just talking about this grown man, Keon White, and you look how he gets real skinny. That's called getting skinny as a defensive lineman. He rips right through.
It's not important for you to get out on the route. It's important for the pass to be thrown. I don't know.
Tries to make this block, but he cannot handle the size and quickness of Jennings, who gets inside of both he and Ruckert and gets...
Rookie, as we talked about, Amarius Mims, and he beats him.
With modern day, Lawrence Taylor-ish.
Well, look at Bosa with the pressure outside, and he pushes him right into Malik Collins.
Rushers, they've got two great ones when Bosa's healthy on both sides, but Mack is turning back the hand.
Footwork. And then, hey, you got beat inside quick. You got to be the one who's coming back to help. And his feet
long. That's plain and simple. Step up in the pocket if you're going to hold it that long. But Brian Burns makes a nice play.
Get the high upfield shoulder right here and then watch him come back inside and spin. Right there, chop, spin, catch him with that back elbow, and then finish at the quarterback.
Look to the left of your screen, Grenard. He's going to go work over the rookie Cade Stover from Ohio State, and he goes right through his chest. Gets him off balance, runs him over, and then takes down C.J. Stroud. You got to have a...
And they're getting home. Right there, Caleb Williams is trying to hit an option route in the slot. Doesn't open up, forced to hold the ball.
About his power rush, then you get his speed off the edge, and as soon as you start setting for that.
Yeah, and just the idea that they could put both Collins and Nick Bosa. So this time he goes with an inside move and then kind of a club.
Can't we go up and I go, are we really trying to run inside runs towards Vita? I'm definitely not audible into the quarterback sneaks.
Pick that up. They can't because they're confused on the play.
And Derek Hall, who had 2 sacks a week ago, gets a big one here. Yeah, he really does. And
well, watch Sweat. He's going to get protection help by Parkinson right there, 86, and then Whittington even comes across to try and help out.
Able to rescue it for Chicago.
Well, watch Fisk and the push he gets with Jared Verse right next to him, working on Pryor and Braxton Jones.
The first quarter, nothing going right for him now. They picked up only.
And you're going to get Harold Landry right here, just coming off the edge. He's got tremendous get off. Look at this get off at the snap. He's the first guy to move. Huntley has no shot.
Yeah, just a relentless pass rusher. And again, we're talking about a guy who's not 100%, and you find a way to get him one-on-one against a tight end, and that's got to be.
Oh my gosh, and that's going up against Isaac Seumalo right there, and he just puts Seumalo on his back and then goes and gets the quarterback. What a...
Look at how he just bulls Braden Smith right into Joe Flacco. Just like it happened earlier in the game, he's able to bull him, and then Hines Allen comes from the other side, scoops, and almost scores.
These guys are a great tandem, especially in obvious passing situations. How about that dip?
There he is right here, Armstrong working his way through Glasgow. Goff just too loose with the ball. Watch Tom here just overset, and then Smith's right to the middle of the pocket. When you're a quarterback and they get to the middle of the pocket, you're basically have zero chance. Before Love can even look at his second read.
On your team. Watch the way he destroys this play. Gets up the field, off the double team. They're trying to get to the edge.
Regular season, and he gets one here.
Yeah, good move by Andrew Van Ginkel, and you see the spin move there on the inside, and has a straight shot at Stafford, and with the sack.
Fired, and Karlaftis took care of the rest. KC takes a...
The old pick tough. Watch him slam inside here. Take the blocker off his looping linebacker, Byron Young.
The quarterback, and then shed him to gather the quarterback into his arms.
Bosa is back. Clock running down to 9.5.
Watch Cam Hayward here. Just the effort, 97. Uses his hands. Remember, this is a guy that we thought might not be back out on the field.
This is going to be the game for the Los Angeles Rams. Can their front four get pressure on Sam Darnold? They only rush four. They're locked up in man coverage, and they get the pull. Standing year when he's gotten on the edge. You see how he's able to get right past Fisher.
Jalix Hunt, another one of those rookies having a big impact, just stays after this. And you just wonder if Matthew Stafford had not hurt those ribs.
And then off the edge, you're going to have number 51, Will Anderson. And what they do is just come right up.
Carter is almost impossible to block one-on-one. Watch this move back out to the outside here. And when you think about Matthew Stafford, when he's off the ground right.
And Stroud is in some serious pain and needs help to get to the sideline.
It's a really good burst and explosion. He's always had that in his career, Fowler, usually.
From Mike Tomlin and the Pittsburgh Steelers, playing downhill, playing aggressive, playing with confidence, and coming after Lamar Jackson.
The wily veteran is right there in his face early. So instead of making that left-handed throw, you see how he takes it back. He is absolutely unblocked off the edge, and no one's even looking in his direction.
There was a snap. You could see Barton snapped it, and nobody was moving, so you assume it's on Barton.
This alignment is so wide. He's outside the receiver, and Coleman ducks his head, and Nolan Smith, what a pass.
A huge battle right there. 2 sacks in the game last week. Puka Nacua was right there to take.
Saw the graphic already, 3 sacks.
Philadelphia Eagles, you'll see the center turn here, and there's nobody left.
And the clock is running.
Dana on the edge right here. He's going to rip and get under right there. Great technique, and then gets his hand on the ball. That's the second time. If you could push him back, and then you see the trip right there. You got to give this defensive line and front seven credit right now.
And you get a little bit desperate with only 9 minutes and 45 seconds left on the clock, and this is what happens with this defense. We've seen it all year. We're seeing it tonight.
Disrupt a lot and send it back into other people. He is playing much bigger than his size. Great job.
Times throughout his NFL career, but he is a guard at heart. And Will Anderson, with his speed, just able to get past it.
On the inside pocket, getting Steen pushed back, and on the outside, Armstrong just running the hump, getting Hurts. And
you see Russo goes inside. McGlinchey expected him to go outside, and you see the length. And
there's a miscommunication up front. They got 2 for 2, and both Calcaterra and Dickerson.
It's the stunts now that are getting him, these loops back inside. And when Stafford has tried to step up.
And then you get beat inside moves right to the pocket, in the middle of the pocket by Williams. Again, I knew they would be on him pretty quick. Not much Love could do at that point. Mahomes tries to step up into the pocket. Again, Patrick's just trying to buy a little bit of time. What a stud linebacker he's been. They love him in blitz pickup. Again, Patrick I'm just watching his feet. And he just is not that comfortable right now, kind of moving left. And again, I wouldn't expect him to be very comfortable with the way this pass rush is really getting after this offense.
Henry all day, we're going to give it to him. Buffalo does not fall for it. And you see just the effort and commitment.
Aliendo, the left guard in there, can't deal with Hunt. Creative protection where Creed Humphrey ultimately has to find his way over, but there's no way with Sweat up the field like that. Kelsey tries to get a hand on him.
He absolutely dominated the line of scrimmage.
Kind of gets to his outside shoulder, then smacks him, and then Daniels.
Take a look at Epinesa right here. That's a defensive end, and he just extends the play all the way out, trying to set the edge. But
he make that play. Watch him come in here, but immediately know what was happening to get back outside. Fought his way right through the tight end Dallas Goedert. Here we come, right in here, Cam Curl, as they bring the safeties down. Gets the initial shot, and good on him that he just took that shot. These linebackers, they're just shooting the gaps in here. You just can't keep handing off into this thing because they're playing downhill. It was the perfect opportunity. What we're talking about, let's see. Here's Gallimore right here, and that's going to be the initial pressure that's going to happen because they brought the blitz. Basically, Juergens just missed him. But you can tell, how many times have we seen Jalen Hurts being able to escape a situation like that? He just can't move.
And that's what I saw. Gallimore got his hand on the ball, and it's so slippery right now. That was almost a fumble in the end zone. Hurts actually did a really good job.
He's going to go from here to here and then shoot the gap down here to make this play. C.J. Gardner-Johnson, perfectly done right here. So Michael Hoyt is here. The blitz is going to come here, but watch Hoyt. He's going to jump right underneath the route by Smith here, and that's exactly where Hurts wanted to go.
Kill. And he's running to the left. Hands it off, and they actually have it. If the receiver... Well, you got Anzalone right here as the weak side linebacker. And what's he do? He's just reading the pulling guard. Ertz comes around, and he's right on it. You got to get up on him.
You can see Justin Reed and how he times this. I mean, it was just absolutely perfect. And this special teams of Dave Toub, special teams coordinator, they started the game off with a big play.
Chenal might have been the one to get there. Reed got through. He got hooked. But Leo Chenal got his arms up. I think it went past the hand of Reed and into the arm of Leo Chenal. But any one of three could have blocked it.
Yeah, we saw the end of the game against Denver. They blocked a kick to keep the Broncos from winning, and Dave Toub's unit, he doesn't give much of a chip on Karlaftis, and then Karlaftis just speeds backwards. They get beat up front. Titus Howard, the left guard, just nowhere. This is a lot, what I was talking about earlier. Well, you're going to see they bring up linebacker here, and it ties up Shaq Mason, and Omenihu then. Well, the key to this game for Houston is what they're doing now, being able to disrupt Patrick Mahomes in the pocket, be able to rush who's trying to block him, and then as he's defeating that block, able to reach out and drag him to the ground. No horse collar, as you say, Joe. He gets him on the shoulder there in the front and gets him on the ground. That's not an easy play to make. Well, you've got everybody at a disadvantage if you're wearing purple, and this offensive line being the main ones. And
Defense has been sensational, a loss of 8.
yeah, you see the game up front, and that's what this offensive line has had some issues with. Ivan Pace, haven't had a chance to say many good things about what this defense has been able to do this year, but Ivan Pace, he missed some time with a hamstring injury.
You mentioned Ford. We saw him on the pass rush. This time he just goes inside. Titus Howard, the offensive guard, and spills Mixon.
Get Jefferson ISO'd. He's right here, and he trips coming out. That's where Darnold was going to go with the football. He gets tripped, but already tonight he's taken too many sacks, and in games like this.
Out of Kancey, watch this quick first move down to the inside, completely avoids the block of Wiley. Moment for him. He is the quicker guy. He is a little smaller than Payne and Allen, but he has that kind of quickness. Remember watching him in college, some of the things he could do, very difficult than guys in college trying to run that play down, and I just don't see it work very often.
Yeah, you just can't say enough good things about Zach Bond. Played a different position, signed here in free agency on a 1-year contract.
The spice, you get one-on-one looks. You're going to get a little inside and out, and Russo keeps fighting. And that's the strength of their pass rush. Should have been holding, but look at, they're caging him in. We talk about enclosing Josh Allen, and everyone rush with lane integrity. This is exactly why when you get the penalty, now you can tee off. Zach Allen has had an outstanding year, one of the best interior D linemen.
Sack here, 4th and 17.
And he does a good job again, once again, in the eyes of an athletic quarterback. Spin move gets out. Now he's got to just use his athletic ability. And this is where I feel like Russell Wilson.
And we have every spot contributing for Houston. We saw the defense come alive in the first half and maintain it. We've seen the offense come alive late in the first half. And we've seen big plays from special teams throughout this game from Frank Ross. Take a look at this. And just coming for the quarterback. He ends up going from one side to the other, from one A gap to the next one, and comes through unencumbered. And DeMeco Ryans' defense, I felt like Jesse Minter, the defensive coordinator for Los Angeles, said, okay, you're starting to feel good about running it. How about I add an extra guy into the box? He has stepped up big for them today. Look at him swim past Jamari Salyer, the young guard from Georgia who's better as a run block that they played to get Khalil Mack there. He's on the edge, and he works upfield, and he works in tandem with his teammate. They had their way at the line of scrimmage, but not this time. Fatukasi, number 91, right there. And then there's Toto, number 39, backfilling.
Not play last week because he has a high ankle sprain. Does it look like he has a high ankle sprain? That's how good and relentless this guy is.
There, he's going to be right here on this side coming around.
Intentional grounding. Offense number 7. Spot foul. Loss it down. Seattle's elected to take a timeout to avoid a 10-second runoff.
And just watch the relentless nature of Mack, how he just chases this down from the backside. That's the second or third time in this game.
Houston, his energy, changing positions. Watch how many times he has a shot here. First one goes by, keeps hustling, keep working. Get after it out there. And Mike, we've watched quite a few of his snaps now, and he's going against Rashawn Slater. One of the better guys is that a lot of times he will start to the edge and then turn it into a edge player on this side. They even have chippers over there. They've got a tight end on that side, and they just...
To Isaiah Likely, who's got to try to cut off Max Crosby before he...
Parsons up here in the interior of the defense, and he goes through Batonio, and he just...
95 is going to push the pocket and send it back inside, so both...
It's weird. It looked like Noah Fant was a little surprised by that, but here's Keon White going up against Laken Tomlinson and gets that pressure on Geno Smith.
Yeah, I mean, just watch the effort. He's going to take around the left side, Jacobs, and he's just going to run the hoop. And now this is just effort, just chase. And you never know when that ball is going to... Bucks have their own version of an interior defensive lineman in Vita. And just a club right through Becton. And
this is how you draw it up. You get pressure here, you make the quarterback step up, and then you get a nice bull rush inside. And that's exactly how it works. As you watch this game, really, the edge rushers for Pittsburgh really haven't had...
Is a read, he makes the wrong read. You like to hand this ball off, reading 51, If he stays wide, you got to hand that football off to Zeke Elliott, who was untouched
for his 5th sack on the season.
Like we said, number 1 in sacks. That was number 6.
For the ball, he got his hands on the ball. Forsythe, by the way, the right tackle, the 3rd right tackle for this offense.
On the other side, and he has just been making play after play after play. And he gets the kick out block going right into him here. Takes it head on and still bounces and has the speed to go out and track.
And he does. The intelligence this man plays again. Actually, it was a punch. He did it again. That's a second right hand. When you can do more than one thing, first you set the edge if you're TJ Watt. Look at the right hand. A pure punch.
And there goes that all-pro linebacker, Cole Mora. He's going to come right off the edge and bam, blows right by Saquon Barkley for the sack.
That. Shoulder to shoulder.
Following the block of the lineman, Kendrick Green, who was lined up as a fullback on the
performance in the Super Bowl last year, generating pressures. Now he's going up against Morris. There's just no way. You got to pass set better than that. You got to try to punch.
He's going to have an open receiver right in here. That time TJ just too quick. He won quickly, got back in the throwing lanes.
9 technique. So that already stretches the play out, and then bam, here comes Cooper.
They put everybody on the line, and then they're going to drop the linebackers. It's just a 4-man rush. You get Hendrickson with some help over on one side, but they completely leave the other side.
He gets that. I want you to watch down at the bottom. Boom, boom. Wow, you saw the speed.
He tipped it and he picked it off.
Unreal.
Anthony Richardson.
Yeah, you're going to get a little bit of a chip right there on Jalen Ramsey, but then the running back goes inside, so he's a free release to the quarterback.
You can't go more than 9 yards deep. That's right there at the 1. He gets to 10, 11, and the tackles will...
Fight through a chip. Comes inside. Wise.
Someone's going to come free, so O'Connell realizing he has to get rid of the ball. Good edge pressure there.
Back foot gets planted hard. You step forward. If your reads aren't there, especially down here, you can't have a negative. I mean, this is just going to come straight inside. I mean, beat immediately against Amarius.
Or afforded this much time. There's Braden Fisk. Everything about his game is speed, quickness, getting on an edge. He gets on the edge, beats Anthony.
Here comes Max Crosby off the edge. He's going. One thing that he's really good at is not just his ability to pressure the quarterback and
Allen, and just gives up the sack. The chip is what disrupted the blocking scheme up front
to where he had chance to step up in the pocket, but he's not able to, and Bell able to knock it out of his hand. And
the primary pass rusher now on the Lions is Aleem McNeil, number 54 inside, and he is going to be a headache for whoever plays him. Good job that time.
You got a good, just a little, is that Evan Anderson again? Yeah. Going up on Mock and nowhere to go. He's kind of taken a back seat this year, the veteran, all-time leading sack in Saints history. Again, McGarry, just the foot traffic is killing him. This time it's Bijan Robinson.
Last week, some people wondered how much he be able to play. Look at him. He used the hands, get off of the block from the rookie Rosengarten, and makes that play.
On this call, I thought for sure they'd hand it off, and this is going to knock him out of field goal range. You want to keep the clock moving, but you can't.
He's been so hot the last 4 games and just been able to be that sort of inside factor that can make such a difference.
But it's a great job by Dallas keeping the pass rush lane integrity. Everyone stay in your gap.
And there's Dupree, and he's going to go up the field. They even tried to chip him. Latham is in position, but again, Levis, if you're going to step up, you have to be ready to make a decision quickly. Either you're going to throw the ball.
Bosa, they had plenty of protection against Bosa. There's a great chip right there. Here comes Cody Ford, and then Burrow just sort of...
Tough thing to do when you pull the guard. Wiley's got to kick down and make this block. Gets off the line of scrimmage a little bit slow.
Barnett with the defensive score.
One-on-one with Derek Barnett, and he comes in, makes the play, and then he's also able to get it after it bounces around and run it in.
So Barnett forced the first.
Sweat cleans it up. Watch this move right here. That club And then he's got the quickness to be able to affect that quarterback, makes him step away. Get upfield. Watch how he has a feel and understands that Hurts may get underneath him. His vision is on the quarterback, becoming one of the best interior defenders there is right now in the NFL. You see that, how he uses his hands, eyes in the backfield. He plays it almost like a linebacker with his instincts.
For Zach Martin, number 66, he just, it doesn't slow him down at all. So it's just these guys.
How powerful they are. I want you guys to keep your eyes on Vita Vea throughout this entire snap and see what he does to this Giants offensive line. Just drives over and runs a guy over against his will.
Lead dog is always going to be Jalen Carter. That's where it all starts, and that's him right there. But anytime Carter takes off and Williams can play off of that, see the
tackle. He's had a relatively quiet night, but here with a tight end there, Herbig is lined up outside. Wow, Brandon Graham.
What a night he's having on the outside out here, and these tackles are just struggling.
I put a returner back here on this 56-yard field goal. It's going to be the end of the half.
All right, we're going to get another double team over here on Carter, and here's Williams over here, the beneficiary of that. Because once you double team Carter, that means that you've got one-on-one.
This is what the Browns need to do if they're going to be able to be competitive. We've said in the open, how do they win? How do you compete? The defense has got to be able to make a difference tonight in being able to.
There's Draymond Jones right there, and Jonah Williams gets pushed back.
The former Chief, you see him here, he's lined up here on the bottom. He's just going to win. The center has no chance. Tyler Biadasz has no chance to go help Allegretti.
So a quick change up. The Rams got a little something going on offense, and they answer.
Get away from the tackle Morris, who continues to struggle on that blind side. Look how quick he got off of.
But when you got big 95, Quinnen Williams, you got to find a way to keep him out of the backfield.
What Verse does to Juwan Johnson. Juwan Johnson's going to be the one block him. He walks him right back into Carr, forces Carr to step. Look at Verse and Hoyt. They're going to run their little tackle end stunt, TE stunt. Hoyt goes outside, Verse comes back inside. Hoyt and Verse get Jared Verse. He is going to come around the edge. Foster Moreau was trying to block him. Gets a piece of that ball. That did look like it was a fumble.
Just a mishap right there.
And fisticuffs.
Bringing pressure, but I'll tell you, a guy who's having a game is the guy in the middle. Look at that get off with Pat O'Connor, the 6-year man out of Eastern Michigan, with these guys that are down.
You're going to try and chip him with a tight end, but he takes a really wide angle and still gets around more.
The inside pressure by number 69, Adam Butler. He flashes right by Baker Mayfield. And then you see Chason, who just kind of comes across by Chason because this is an all-out blitz. And he's supposed to rush the passer, but look at what he does. He recognizes right now it's a screen. A lot of
last-ditch effort to strain. Use your athleticism, whatever it takes. But Sam Darnold also has to know.
Just effort by Kayvon Chason. Working here on the outside on Cole Van Lanen. He just works his way through and eventually just gets onto Mack quickly.
Chason now has 3 sacks.
I mean, this is see Myles Garrett. You just watch him just get off the ball here quickly. It's probably a good idea. Like, if you're going to try and crack block him and try and get out on the perimeter, you better get on him a little bit quicker.
No body weight on the quarterback. I would not want that body weight on me.
No, that is seen all night. Yeah, and here's what they're doing to T.J. Watt. They had 3 people over there trying to help out now. They had Khalil Herbert.
Going to come over and try and block him. He's going to duck back inside and still have the speed to go out and around and make that play against one of the
$0.5 million right there. Needed 1 sack to hit that number. And boy, he didn't waste any time.
Didn't waste any time at all. And look, if you're going to go for, a sack.
The Steelers after being traded here from Green Bay. Well, there it is. Cordell Volson, who.
Of Alex Highsmith off the edge. Now you've got T.J. Watt on one.
Against Cleveland having that type of a day. Look at him working, Josh Nijman. But guess what happened on that one? He started to work on it.
Smash out here and go right to the quarterback. This is probably the toughest stunt when you have a great player like Williams to be able to make plays like that.
I mean, this is just straight up hustle. You're going to see these wideouts down the field There's nowhere to go right there. I mean,
and just not able to get it. Here comes Chris Jones, and the pressure that he puts on Baker.
The Colts and the Raiders gets the sack here.
And the problem here, when you get to 3rd and long with these ends that they have, Will Anderson and Donnell Hunter, that they're so.
That one, but now, all right, this is a little bit too much, Max. My God, he's just so good with the hands. And
held out for the first 7 games. Here he is.
Yeah, the Texans try to move the launch point, get him away from the pressure. He actually runs himself right into it there with Reddick, who's so good on the edge. Does enough there to affect it. He has recently where he's had some struggles where he gets up high against the run and he gets beat and pushed off the line of scrimmage. Tonight,
it looked like Yelda Froholt, the center, got a little confused here and thought that maybe Kyler Murray was the enemy.
Yep.
Look at him. He's starting to grasp him. I think when he was
pays dividends out there, and they have good edge players. I mean, they really do. Odang completely dominates his guy. Watch right here, right through Garrett Bradbury.
And he just overruns it. Verse is going to get up the field, but here comes Julian Hill, number 89, and you see he just completely overruns it. Verse exploding here late in the first half.
Fumbler recovered the ball.
Jeez, just bull rushes him.
Take a look. Caleb McGarry, the right tackle.
He for T.J. Watt due to all the attention he was getting, but he and his tag team partner Alex Highsmith.
Parsons, you want to bootleg the other way because he can sniff out. He can play the run and the quarterback, and he understands any subtlety that gives him an advantage, whether or not the possibility of handing off.
But of course, when they have to protect their quarterback, last one was a coverage sack. This time, Jalen Carter.
They give a nice chip there from Farrell Brown and Abe Lucas.
Point on the field as the pass was tipped. It's an incomplete pass.
Yep, it was going forward.
Yeah.
Yep, there you go.
Isn't having the year that he's had in prior years, but he's been the best of the interior guys, and he just beats Juice Scruggs.
We're not calling his name a lot, but watch Carter here. He is going to make the move, the big swat on Bo Limmer.
And with Austin's speed, he's able to get around him. Look how close Garrett comes to getting that pressure on Russell Wilson. This is going to be a great matchup all night. Dan Moore is isolated one-on-one. He got a little bit of a chip initially, but not much to slow down Myles Garrett.
Take a look at Kyler Murray's arm. Is it coming forward? And it seems like that ball was
with the Browns, and just take a look at the pressure that he brings. Comes inside, working against Quentin Nelson. That's their best offense.
And this is what Micah Parsons does. Let me just turn you around. Are you kidding me? How many times do you see a tackle running back at your quarterback?
Off the edge. Look at that. He makes this play. And Leonard Williams.
Yeah, you come into a game against Cleveland, you got to have answers for this guy, Myles Garrett. And for the most part, they've done pretty well. He's got 3 tackles on the night, 1 quarterback hit, and 1 tackle for loss. Of course, what's not in his stat line was when he brought pressure.
Get the defense to get set.
There's big Leonard Williams. And you see, that's a loaded front. They got 3 defensive linemen to the offense's left.
Take a look at Verse and watch the power that I mentioned. He's going to go up and inside. He's working against Cesar Ruiz, pushes him all the way to rush the passer. And you just watch how they all get after the offensive line. Straight drop back pass. Braden Fisk, the rookie that does a nice job, and Jared.
Ifedi, a little bit of help, but you see he knocks him out, and then he comes on the inside of Ifedi. He's anticipating once he gets knocked off the mark by Woods.
It ends up being White unblocked. So, again, this Gannon defense.
Inside, but because of the game that they run between Butler and Crosby in his face, for some reason, Mayfield pulls.
Adams, who just joined the team 3 days ago, also in.
Yeah, this is a big storyline because the right tackle a little bit confused there. Zach Tom looked inside.
Forces the play. Watch him go around the edge here against Joe Alt and force Herbert to step up and around, and that little trying to go up the field and then back around. So basically, once you see Mahomes step up into that pocket, you want to beat him.
Down the field. There's one of the opportunities here where Mayfield has to hold the ball a little bit, but they're not as aggressive down the field.
For a loss of 5 on the first play for the Browns.
He's got such a unique.
Yeah, this is the single jet sweep variation I just don't love as much as one when it's.
But that all was about the disguise. That was an excellent disguise.
since week 3, and watch what happens right here. I mean, this is a great job by Elijah Chapman. He takes.
Everybody's going to go that way, and you're going to see Williams just circle around here and be able to make that play in the backfield. Josh Jacobs couldn't believe he saw a big 9 and then a bigger 9 on the other side. There he is inside, going to know where they're going to try and attack that blitz, and you see on the outside.
Allow. It's a good rush. He gets that edge there. And as that ball's coming out of Lamar's hands, he gets
and then came back right as he's sliding up, doesn't have time to find it.
Look at this 38-year-old modern marvel is what he was called by his coaches.
Just rockets himself right into the tackle and gets this pressure, this push out of the pocket that forces Tyler Huntley to have.
Talked about a factor.
Yeah, you see Grenard just coming over around on Walker. And anytime the quarterback
have as many sacks, but it's his ability to impact the game, Noah, on every down, run, pass, with this jet sweep motion by Zay Flowers, and he just completely ignores it, so don't be surprised.
Bottom left of your screen, going against Rashawn Slater, who is a technician.
Right now, you get into a drop-back game, trailing by 22 here in the second half. And
well, Allen has been a disruptive force in the middle of this D-line all year, and he comes up with the sack there.
That Mike McDonald told us, I don't think I would take another defensive line in the entire NFL over what I have. Now, they blitzed. They brought some pressure from the...
He's going to come from the right side. The tight end pushes him. Now, that shows...
Now the punting unit for the Chargers.
Great stop by the Raiders. 2 3-and-outs for both of these defenses.
And then the ball comes out. And I don't think, regardless of whether his hand was coming forward or not, I think the ball still went backward. Well, I think his hand is empty and the ball went backward. I think that's a fumble.
And a big part of that was the check down to the tailback. And their coverage is good down the field. He tries to come underneath here, but Cincinnati...
Yeah, they got to have a better plan. You come into, every time you have a star player, right? When you go into your Monday morning, Wednesday morning team meetings to start the week, one of the things that this Atlanta Falcons defense has struggled with over the last couple years is rushing the passer. He's matched up here against James Daniels, the right guard, and something that has...
he's just obviously no one-on-ones, and that's kind of... It is one-on-one with the tackle. He gets the chip, but just too athletic.
There first and sort of knocked him into a defender that was behind him and got his ankle trapped.
But guess what? He's going to pursue, they call this heel line run. He's going to flatten and he's just going to run straight down the back of the heels of the offensive line.
Great job by Spagnuolo. What do? They bring in the backup right tackle, the rookie, and go, okay, well, you want a little welcome to the NFL? Here comes
Worker. He's all the way up top, fighting to get past Miller. He's going to reach his hand out and just trip it up where it was an easy first down.
Yeah, this is what you can't do. You can't go below the knees on a tackle like this. So he's spinning, he's trying to make a move, he's diving to make a play, but watch him go below the knees to the ankle.
You can watch the stunt. He's going to move down the movement, and he's got great instincts and leverage to swim. He uses power, speed.
Wow! I mean, they needed a couple feet.
Yeah, I didn't love that.
Kobe Turner working off of each other. Young this time looping back inside and sort of pinball his way right. Boy, if Davenport can do this on a regular basis, just offset a little bit of the attention that Aiden Hutchinson.
Yeah, we're starting to see now in these passing situations, this Pittsburgh defensive line is having their way.
You've got Chris Jones, who's going to be working against not one but 2 replacement guards for the Ravens, and right away goes.
Well, they're pressuring with Kendricks. The tackle's got to come down, and it leaves one of the most athletic players.
Showing great effort there, finishing that play. I know everybody inside this Falcons organization is excited to have number 97 back. He's been an elite interior defensive player for a long time.
Each guy had a purpose coming in.
Of course, Mack came into the league, drafted by the Raiders.
That's where they're going to line him up. You're going to have to chip. You're going to have to help. Nobody, the tight end, the wide receivers, nobody help.
Watch him just take Jordan Morgan, the rookie right guard, and drive him all the way back to the quarterback. Just whips him. I mean, he is a
Eddie Goldman, number 99. You can see he starts at the nose, and he just wins fast. He beats Spencer Anderson.
Pressure with 4, then that allows you to do a lot of things in the back end of your defense if you're Jeff Hafley. And right now they're getting pressure, and they force Hurts out. Nowhere to go with the football.
Here comes the punting unit.
Well, Phillips on the outside. Sealer just relentless with his pursuit from the inside.
What do you like about Montez Sweat, Mark?
Well, he was such a huge factor in coming over midway through the last year. Led 2 teams in sacks, right?
Aiden Hutchinson's on a feeding frenzy right now over on the other side, and they've got people there. I don't know why. Oh, they did chip on the...
Well, they're going to move Quinnen Williams around, and he's already moved into different spots here on this opening possession. This time he gets out. He goes over to the right tackle, Colton McKivitz.
Between the quarterback and the wide receiver to lift up and throw, and really well played by Edgerrin Cooper. And it wasn't, and Rashawn Gary just went right around Lane Johnson.
Nowhere for Anthony Richardson to go with this ball, and you see the pressure just collapses in this pocket. He tries to step forward.
Titus Howard getting into C.J. Stroud's legs, just getting driven back by Kwity Paye.
Watch Eric Wilson, number 45. He's going to come right in through the tight end and just rip right through Calcaterra's block and into the backfield.
Help out and clean up, but he misses Harold Landry on the pick stunt.
And he is thrown back to the Dolphin 15.
Armstead overpowers Eichenberg and just is able to get through.
But look at the penetration again. The penetration up front. They get inside Laken Tomlinson.
John Runyon, he's trying to work with Jonathan Bullard, and instead Daniel Jones has nowhere to go.
Von Miller almost comes up with another sack. He had his first sack last week in the opener. Look at that spin move going.
No chip here. Rookie left tackle. Kingsley right here. There's easier guys to go against.
If you give up 5 sacks to Aiden Hutchinson, if he gets another sack the rest of the day.
Hendrickson might get Mahomes here.
He was in week 1.
Turn this corner on McGlinchey. They've been doing a pretty good job of having somebody at tight end, somebody over on
entirety of this game. This right tackle position for the Baltimore Ravens.
Daniil Hunter, he has been to the Pro Bowl for the last 5 years. All these quick spin moves back underneath, but also has that element of power.
Afternoon, and it led to this right here. Myles Garrett getting up the field, forcing Trevor Lawrence to have to step up.
Nowhere to go with this ball. Nice rush, just straight power, and then boom, nice little rip to come off and keep running the hump to get the sack.
You watched Hall. He's the one that's going to get around Owen New, and then Leonard Williams cleans it up for the sack. And
get one-on-one blocking. You're going to see him down the bottom. He comes and just knocks that ball away from.
He is an enforcer in the interior with low, kind of at low center of gravity.
He's going to go up the field. This is where he's made his hay all game, trying to get upfield. He recognizes him stepping up. You heard Dan Campbell talk.
Draymond Jones, he's right there in the screen. Goes up and under on Michael Wenu. Completely disrupts the play and gets a tackle for loss.
Bears are missing Keenan Allen in this situation. He's such a good slot, third down.
Jones is going to get up and make the quarterback always have to move up in the pocket. So you just fall back under.
More quickly, only rushing forward than when they traditionally just had 4 lined up. Great stunt to the inside there, able to get pressure.
To be able to change the play at the line of scrimmage, because Pittsburgh lines up everybody at the line.
The clock is going. You're going to lose 30 seconds or more.
Van Ginkel did this last week and had a pick.
Yeah, exactly.
Williams, he's made some nice plays in this game. You talked about him earlier, Joe, and down here, they finally get the push into the backfield that you would expect. I mean, these are talented guys.
I mean, his rookie season last year, he was as good as any player in the league.
And Myles Garrett is so low to the ground. You see Andrew Thomas kick out as best he can, but Myles Garrett turned the corner so fast on him, there was nothing.
Anytime as a quarterback, you hate to get pressure up the middle, because if it's from the outside, you can step up in the pocket, but nowhere to step up when hand comes.
But I love that he's on the edge, and he's going against a Pro Bowl guard. Joel Bitonio gets right inside, splits the double team, and makes sure that he wraps up.
Remember, you have 3 new pieces up front. Two on the left side, and Simpson and Smith still feeling each other out.
In the grasp, as they used to call it.
It just felt like they continued to let the play go. Sweat grabs him right here, and the whistle hadn't been blown. So,
top 5 in scoring offense through 2 games, but going backwards on the first play here.
Yeah, it's just a zone read, and it's either a give to Barkley on the perimeter.
To bring the blitz, but they do a nice stunt here with a big man bringing him around. Trying to confuse that offensive line. Nobody picks him up. Wallace is locked up.
Hutchinson right here, and you've got this tackle who comes in off the practice squad, and Charlie Heck. You get an opportunity to line up there. You turn that corner, and
the new faces on that defensive front for Houston.
Right in the middle, big nose tackle working over Ingram, and he just stayed.
That Cross has given up this year.
A lot of the guys point to Antonio Pierce as we take another look at that replay.
This time, a little bootleg action, and
just went on a great 13-play drive. I mean, this is good football by the Giants.
Well, they're running a blitz here, and you're going to watch. I mean, he's going to come inside, outside with Branch, and I guarantee you one guy you want to block.
It's not late, and I know what he's calling is the wrap, lift, and then landing on top of him with the body. Watch this little lift and then drop.
Crosby off the edge, the pterodactyl-like wingspan, unblocked, gets the left hand up.
With Ruiz, the right guard, watch, he's going to give him a little up and under, little club move to the side of the shoulder. He's not going to get.
We know his potential. He used to just be a speed outside edge guy as a rookie, and you think he's really developed like most guys do in their second year. And with Jermaine Johnson down,
a two-way go on the center. He's just too quick. Forces this, and Lamar does that. What a job just being.
Collapse in the pocket, and then as soon as Deshaun Watson goes out there,
he just went right through him. I mean, look at this power. He gets down. Look at that push, the bend, the athletic ability, the power.
And I just hope young kids watching this, you get rewarded when you play with incredible effort. He's been close. Coming off the offense's left side, he just kind of runs the hoop. They try to send a chipper at him, and then Leonard Floyd ran.
Handing the ball off or getting the quarterback on a little bootleg, but not a straight drop back. Chris Jones too good in those situations.
But a stunt, an ET stunt on the backside, on the front side, I should say.
Come up. That Bulls is, and you know it when you're facing them. They face 50%.
Just unbelievable defense right here. You get pushed back, Wharton creating it. Have to go through it, and you'll see Bud Dupree go up and then come back under and close that little gap that Patrick thought was good.
Down. So Thibodeau having an impact tonight. Sure. I think Giants fans been waiting for him to.
And look at Sweat. He's a monster. Getting big, knows it's going to be naked, gets his big bear paw up.
Just time it up perfectly. He puts those arms up in the air. He may be about 9 feet tall.
Myles Garrett, who else? Look how wide he is. I mean, that's as wide as you'll ever see an edge rusher.
But look how quick he gets there.
I mean, I initially thought it was the
Guyton getting Thibodeau and now getting Burns. Love how he kept his outside arm and shoulder free.
clearly they chose to run the ball because they're going to go for it on fourth down.
He's reading this guy right here, Nealon, and if he collapses on the back, he pulls. He gives him that look and then comes out at the quarterback. So he needed to stay on that ride a little bit longer.
It's got to do a better job staying square. Once he gets turned, you see him there, 62. Once he gets turned, it's over, and Bosa is not going to get the sack.
Their left guard, he gets the push right through him. You see they collapse the pocket, and it's a lot of, this is what Geno's been feeling a lot of throughout this game.
You're going to get a double A-gap pressure, and Jalen Phillips drops, the back scans and runs right by.
First step quickness, able to use a quick swim, get in the backfield, create the TFL tackle for loss. They were bringing Javon Holland and all.
Chance in the stands of Georgia. Georgia, after they were down 28-0 to Alabama last night. It was 28-0 Vikings.
He is going around Colton Miller. He's not thinking run at all. He was feeling pass all the way. That is tough for an offensive lineman if you're trying to sell play action a little bit, the run, and the DN's just not buying it.
Watch 91. He's standing up there at the end of the line. Watch how he plays it, comes down, squeezes it, sees it right away, and then turns and chases. And just real fortunate right there. You can see with Cam Taylor-Britt.
Forthcoming.
Now, 76 McGarry is fighting through a knee injury. Well, see that left knee? It's bandaged up pretty good.
The other way to help against T.J. Watt, but now that's leaving Guyton one-on-one on the other side. And now he's down. But if you're going to play these guys, Dak, you have to get the ball.
Play of the night to make it 3rd down and 22.
Nelson has tremendous length, good effort, but it was the coverage downfield that allows him to eventually get home.
Now you can see the big fella right there. Just wins right off the line of scrimmage.
Get Bosa to react. Just looked a little too under control. Never got Bosa to react, and he's just there able to close on.
Keanu Benton. Benton is going to be getting extra snaps, and they're coming off the plate of Ogunjobi, according.
With 2:03 to go, and here comes George. Almost had his helmet taken off on his way to Haener.
Yeah, and he's
going to go 1, 2, 3 and dip down underneath Terrence Steele. That is his signature move right there. The rip, the dip underneath, and then he can turn that corner like a NASCAR driver right there for the Dallas Cowboys. First T.J. Watt off the edge, and again Dak Prescott with no time whatsoever. He sees that. The odds of actually making contact on that play, flying through the air, is so remote.
Look where he started, Chris.
We saw this a little bit in practice. Okay, he's supposed to go get around. They've got 2 tight ends. They're going to keep chipping and knocking them around and bootleg that way.
But yeah, just a costly penalty on Olave. Not only
the timing wasn't as smooth. They thought maybe they had him off sides, and so they snap early and
gets a lot of attention. Watch this time. At least 3 different people are going to get their hands on him. There's 1, there's 2, there's 3, and he's still.
Here's Bosa just coming off the edge and trying to throw the flare to Connor, and Kyler just loses sight.
We just talked about Rosengarten. Watch, he's going to go here. Nobody blocks. Nobody even touches him.
Just quickness, being able to watch the center trying to come back and pick up that block, but that is a tough.
But he's got to get sacks, and he gets one here.
Yeah, he just has to finish, and he had not been able to. And we mentioned one.
Side from Osa Digizuwa right there, but you'll see in the backfield, Connor Hayward is lined up as the fullback, and he just snuck out.
We talked to Dex last night. We asked him about the double teams. He said, they better double team me, because if you don't, it's going to look like you didn't show up for work.
Timeouts remaining. I know that Will Anderson and Danielle Hunter want to accumulate the sack statistics. That's what catches everyone's attention, get you to Pro Bowl.
Giants defense, the second of the season by the big offseason acquisition, Brian Burns.
For this play, and Carson Steele, I mean, he's got to know better. I mean, you just got to be smarter with the football. Now, he had a fumble last week.
Football. When Whitehead comes over to try to help out, there's no chance of him locating the football.
But really, you know, when you look at it, there's nothing up there where you're kind of talking and somebody's walked up. Are we expecting a blitz? Are they dropping out? That was really just, we're not showing you anything exotic right here.
Right now, it looks like he's determined to take over this game.
Well, and they're trying to get Connor McGovern over to his side.
So many things going on. Look at the distance right here, and that sends Herbig all the way out. So they try to crack him, can't get him, and he just
hits right here. He wants to throw. He's like, come on, get off. Oh.
That's Preston Smith coming in.
Trey Hendrickson going against Andrew Thomas on the outside, and for Hendrickson, sack number 4 on the year. He has just been phenomenal since coming over from the Saints for Burns, and that was tremendous. Great call on the defensive side.
They have to punt. The Bills bring 5, so all the linemen are single.
And man, when they can get outside with those speed moves and the way he uses his hands, you see all that. He falls on Brian Burns to get the pressure, and what a move already right off the bat. Inside
against good. Cross, that left tackle, who's got great length, great hands, but has not had to deal with 97 tonight.
How about their complete games? Playing the run as well. A lot of the great pass rushers don't play the run very well. I guarantee you this is going to be one comment that comes out of this play. Guys?
Now, this is what you expect out of Brian Burns. He gets a big contract. Gesicki is supposed to be able to cut him off. And now they're setting him up with some stunts to get him going. That's what happens. Anytime that you have a guy who gets a hot hand, let's go to work for him. Let's set him up. Really pretty good job blocking on the outside against Sexy Dexy. They really had him double teamed and covered, but the more that Burrows scrambled around.
Grady Jarrett was one of them.
He'd be
Not what you want.
He'd be the fullback, I guess.
Way to handle McNeil, who's lined up here. Rodriguez runs a stunt with them. He's up and under. Nothing Prescott can do.
Because he's worried about that speed rush around the outside. And Anderson just able to get there. And you can see.
If that's what Jim Harbaugh's thinking.
I'd be surprised if they kick the field goal here. You punt and pin them in. Here, Tart gets in tight here with Javonte Williams, pulls that thing out, and then stumps on it. Give me that. Give me that.
Coming right off the edge, waste no time. I mean, I just don't get how you don't block these guys. Yeah, just a stand in the pocket. Eyes there. Cedric Wilson, number 11.
Not affecting the quarterback. There's that stance again. Almost looks like he's lined up off sides. He's taking every inch he can there. That was really close, but he goes right around and forces Geno Smith to step up and then out. So again, impacting the play.
Belichick all these years, don't go behind him and don't go way inside. Stay out there, make him go back in. Stay out there.
Recognizes that it's a run. Bam, chases it down, and
he's coming from the bottom of the screen on Jacobs.
Oof. Look at how athletic Myles Garrett is. 280 pounds, jumps over the offensive lineman, times it up beautifully to get that block. And the Browns get the ball on offense to start the second half.
The ball was coming back to him. So instead of going down towards where the ball went with Freiermuth, he understood Fields was going to ultimately end up with the football. Seeing himself for the pressure that was shown, but then they backed off on him and bailed. And now it changed his perspective and where to go with it. And then he just got sped up a little bit.
This was going to be an incredible challenge for Jaden Daniels. No one's been able to have the rush lane integrity.
But it comes back and right up into Justin Herbert's arm, so no harm, no foul here other than the sack.
Regardless of the score, his teammates are going to love to see this tomorrow.
How about Azeez Ojulari? Here is a guy that as a rookie had 8 sacks, 8 tackles for loss.
Feels him work up inside. Here he is in the middle. And as he pushes up, he then realizes Allen's moving up in the pocket.
Yeah, and Basham isn't the pure pass rusher. He's a huge guy. Remember we saw him in practice yesterday. I was like, oh, that's Boogie Basham.
Able to come underneath the other rookie, Roger Rosengarten, who's making the start at right tackle.
285. Could see that he has good quickness.
Just one-on-one, one of the best pass rushers in football. Two-hand swipe of Taylor Decker.
And then bail at the last second to create a little confusion for the rookie left tackle. You could see he was hesitant.
Has got just enough pressure here, and he has sort of been all over Aaron Rodgers when it's mattered here tonight. You could see Aaron had to flip.
Look how fast that Trey Hendrickson is able to get around and bend this corner. Deshaun Watson doesn't have any chance. He just flies and is able to turn that corner and get around.
As well. They just sort of vice you down, one from one side, one from the other. And what looked like an
Porter, Jonathan Grenard, and Van Ginkel, just their ability to win one-on-one matchups in a four-man front.
Number 4 in the burgundy. Look at that. And just shoots a gap.
In Carolina territory at the 38-yard line.
And back-to-back plays, Ian Thomas charged with going.
Team defense. You got Bosa here at the top of the screen. And he just applies enough pressure, Patrick.
Well, it's right up the middle, and when you're trying to get rid of the ball and you've got that pressure, hands up in the...
Right up the middle. Guys coming untouched left. Obviously, it's a screen set up, but when you attack it with pace, you force the quarterback.
Phenomenal all season long for the Seattle Seahawks. This time he's going up, 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 collapses the pocket.
There's no one in that area, but you're going to see Gardner Minshew as he flushes to the right. The official's going to say he's outside the box.
And what I like about Derek Hall, he has 5 sacks on the season, and he's really been using that speed to his advantage. He gets a little bull rush. Now out here playing, and there's Byron Murphy. Mike McDonald raved about Byron Murphy. They are so happy to have him back.
But it's really by stopping Anderson from getting pressure too quickly. He's great at it.
Brings 7, Crosby 98. He's going to be matched up, and he just keeps fighting. That's his relentless effort. Spillane comes up late. That draws the attention of the line, but Crosby coming through and.
I mean, he's on skates. Petit Frere is on skates in that situation.
Young, the right guard right here, who's a tackle, who's trying to fit in there to be a guard. Boy, I tell you, that's more about John Franklin Myers.
Side. And then Roseboom on the other.
Effort and tries to time out the jump. He does time out the jump, and
hey, watch this, get off, and watch what it makes Justin Herbert do. He's got to move up in the pocket, and he forces him right to the defensive tackle.
End up giving the D lineman have time, and Wilson gets the sack, even though.
We understand, right? You can't block Bosa with Terrence Steele. All right? No big deal. Nobody else is blocking him either.
It's about 3 or 4 single opportunities to go after the quarterback when he's not getting double teamed.
And here comes Arden Key again. Remember that first snap? He beat Taylor Decker that time. He gets a little chip here, but as Jared Goff has to hold that football.
Dexter Lawrence, who came into tonight leading the league in sacks. Here's his night so far.
He's always an impactful player, whether it's getting to do the quarterback or playing the run. He can do it all. And you can be sexy when you lead the league at sacks and you're playing over the nose. It's a position you don't see a lot of guys.
Watch him start outside and then get back inside.
Which they just simply do not do very often. Nobody does. So Illuminor's out there.
Offensive left side. Just pushing back to Ryman.
There by Sam Okwanu to finish that off. But that is because Bosa creates that.
Daniil Hunter just undercuts, rips right through Ryman.
You knew it was a matter of time. This is up against a tight end here, Josh Oliver. It's a matter of time until he starts coming up with sacks. It is 32 pressures, which is 15th. Talk about his pressures. He's got 38. He's 4th in the NFL. But what I love about this guy, he's like a lunch pail guy.
Steelers were trying to do. Russell Wilson's hoping to be able to take a shot down the field. They take it away.
Well, you talk about trying to get everybody on the right page to come in this game at 1-5 in this environment, and to have one of your guys make a play like that. Arden Key just goes right around Taylor Decker.
You saw Darnold try to get out of the back door to right there, but you can't run away.
He's had a tough time. Alex Highsmith, he plays in the shadows of T.J. Watt, but he is a fan.
That Sweat. See how he goes inside there? Usually that's a very bad idea against Jaden Daniels, but Sweat can make it work.
DeVries just going to run the hoop right around the edge. See him, number 48, working on Fuaga. That's a savvy vet against a rookie right there.
Gets him looking down, and Will Anderson coming after him, just raging his way on the backside.
Watch Bosa here. He's driven wide around, but he's going to circle all the way back, keep hustling, and force Dak Prescott to throw that thing.
Strike to Slayton.
Yeah, you know you're going to get a lot of one-on-ones, and when Daniel Jones
does a good job in the behind, kind of behind the quarterback here, but the push in the interior for Michael Hoyt, I think, affected him as much as anything, right into the face. Screen, he's right here. He's going to work to the inside, and then Young's going to work underneath him. That time, the left guard, Brandel.
Chains of events here. C.J. Stroud pitching that one behind Joe Mixon. It gets bumped up into the air. It looks like he was thrown to the ground by Joe Mixon.
From T.J. Watt, you'd like to say, hey, maybe you can get that ball out. Make it a 3rd and 10.
The side judge came in and said a false start, but it's a penalty nonetheless.
Well, Colin Saunders working on Zion Johnson right here, the left guard, just one-on-one. It gives him the swim move, the initial contact.
Well, I don't want to tell you who didn't do a great job there. Amagaji having a rough.
He just locks up right here in the middle. And Daniel Jones, I mean, you watch Daniel Jones.
Guess what? That's 2 plays in a row that the backup left tackle, Amagaji, came in.
There were 3 rushers on that side, so it forced them into a confused protection scheme, which led to Danielle Hunter. Danielle Hunter making it back to the quarterback, and now the lateral game starts. And
is able to and makes a big play.
Yeah, really nice job by Arden Key. There he is standing up at the top. He's going to come up the field and then underneath on that twist. And he's got a free run right into Jared Goff. And
incompletion. Tomlin is thinking that he might go for it on 4th down, but Dexter Lawrence does what he does so well. They're trying to double team him, and then they got it back to help kind of secure it.
Hunter's got width and is eyeballing him, hoping that he makes that quick throw so he can either get the interception or the big hit.
Yeah, I just don't know how you contain this guy. I mean, watch how athletic this is. You know, down inside, gets in behind that trap coming. Just a great job by Aleem McNeil. One of the guys that they've rewarded here. I love what the Detroit line.
I don't think he intended to, at least.
He had trouble getting up.
Right, he got the turf monster here.
Yeah.
Matlock on the case again. He's right in the middle with all the big uglies up front. And those guys are hand fighting. I mean, I'm curious to know. This guy plays deep.
Basically, you rush 4 guys, but the back end gets depth with the routes. And
a look here at this is just a power rush. Walker
Trey Hendrickson is such a challenge off the edge.
Myles Garrett wrecking this Chargers offense. That takes us to the end.
Hard if you're Otten and trying to cut him off to the quarterback. That
8 sacks on the year. He works around Tunsil with quickness. I thought he was going to pull him down with one arm, but instead he forced him to step up. And
just watch how explosive he is. He's going against Charles Cross, one of their best offensive linemen. They bring Zach Charbonnet to go over there and help as well.
Penei Sewell getting run through by by Mosby.
Just watch what he does. He goes, bam, takes on the lineman, almost makes a tackle.
He normally lines up to the defense's right side. Now he just went to work on Rashawn Slater, and now they put him over on the other side, work on the rookie.
Jacksonville's going to need a lot of this today. They're rushing just 4 guys, and Josh Hines-Allen eventually wins against Johnson.
Coming from this right side, the up and the under. He goes upfield, comes underneath, and Jameis Winston doesn't have a chance. He is so
able to come up, but just the ability to make the quarterback feel that pressure, and then you get the push in the interior. There's just nowhere to go. Defense is predicated upon that defensive line just getting upfield, being disruptive.
That's exactly what happens. That's what your life becomes. You got to learn how to split double teams. You got to get down and dirty.
With Reddick and McDonald, look at them push. It makes the quarterback want to step up. Now if you get a push in the middle from Thomas, right here, that left guard, he's got to be able to match up tonight. Tough task. Quinnen Williams been coming on in recent weeks. Good penetration. And this time he gets overmatched by Clemens. Used to seeing Quinnen Williams make that play, but it's Michael Clemens this time who uses a great move. Came in for him, but he got injured, so Green went back in, and he's got ability. I think right now he's just getting overpowered. Quinnen Williams just goes right through him. So we've seen him go around him with quickness.
But look at the surge inside by big Dexter Lawrence. Always getting the double team, fighting.
I mean, they had the edge. I've seen so many hits on Lamar.
There's Fisk. What they're going to have to do is leave somebody in. A.J. Barner
just comes right off this edge, and he just runs right by Christensen and gets the sack on Bryce Young. Don't really love the play.
Now that he's back, look at that wide stance there by Hunter. Usually Anderson's on the other side, but boy, he gets able to get around Tyron Smith, and it makes him step up, and that's what we've seen more from Aaron Rodgers in recent weeks. is just the pressure gets to him, and he just kind of doesn't have the ability to try to fight.
Up Tampa Bay's 4th sack of the night. Boy, Kalijah Kancey, if he doesn't get him, Mahomes picks up this first down easily. There's just nobody out there.
Just a great play. Look at the hoop that 49 Arden Key turns right here, tight, and then you don't sack the quarterback, sack the football. Go get that arm.
A loss of 10. Yeah, Vita Vea, the protection overall is pretty good. You're going to see that Patrick Mahomes has a nice pocket, but Vea just keeps playing. He's able to beat Creed Humphrey ultimately.
Yeah, good job by Ward, but really the protection wasn't bad. They just have so many people now back in coverage. They don't have to bring those pressure looks. And those guys are proving once again that pretty darn good at everything they do.
Receiver wearing red for Kyler Murray. And we're talking about his maturity. He went.
Watch how savvy he is coming in here and just squeezing this thing on the outside, not letting him get outside. And you've got DeForest Buckner in there, and he is the athlete. He's the move guy. He got the single block that time into single teaming Grover Stewart. Typically, you're going to get Buckner on the other side with some of those double teams, but if you do.
Man, they're just literally teeing off on Geno Smith. Obvious passing situation, 3rd and long. This is where you don't want to be. The Seahawks goes right around Anthony Bradford. Just watch out. He's going to get right through the line. They call that getting skinny between the guys. And, yeah, he got that right arm. Just enough of it to...
Andre Iosivas and Max Crosby is inside you. He's inside you. There's that is a play where either Andre Iosivas has to have the ability.
Empty formation, his ears are pinned back, and he beats him inside. There's no chance for Baker.
Going to bring 2 off of his blind side, and he just doesn't see it coming.
Man, this is a huge play here because so many times C.J. Stroud will make this defensive tackle miss. You can see the other defensive tackle.
On the field, you're going to see him wrap up and under, up top, and now he's right down the barrels. The ball was not high and tight with 3 points, and Leafo.
And they're trying to get a chip block, but in the end, Williams is tied up on the linebacker.
It'll be ruled a pass and a pick for the moment. Toto comes up with the interception. There is Autry off the edge.
Miller up, and Miller makes the tackle. But that's what you need from your corner. Step in there and...
Right here. This is really impressive athleticism. Look at how he gets low and then he just able. Football, you get a great spin from number 53, Eifler on the front side, and then just a beautiful.
It's game after game, time after time. He's a guy that maybe the general football fan in the country, they don't know his name. But
expecting him to do these kind of things, and he's been challenged by Zach Orr to become more violent, and that's exactly what he did there. Cody Ford is in for Orlando Brown. They decided today to keep Orlando Brown down. And look at that hop, jump.
4 times.
He has a unique gift just to find the hole, find the area to get to, and still correct even if he's out of a gap.
And then he wanted the clock to work down. Now he calls a timeout, being respectful of Lamar Jackson and the Ravens offense. 2 hands on the ball by Burrow. Give credit to
Dietrich Weiss is coming from the left side. There he is, number 79, or I'm sorry, number 91, working. And just, there's Keon White. They've got him, kind of got away with a little bit of a trip there.
Because he wanted Steele to go over and help out Sua Mataia, but it's not a blitz. It's just a one-on-one.
And I'll tell you, this is some pretty good speed. It gives you an idea how he can run for a 305-pound man. I mean, Joe Burrow can go. Joe starts to turn it on, but it's too late.
Contract extension. And he has been just glittering for this Bronco defense.
Well, and I love his story. The way that he fell in the draft, and Johnson comes off the corner. You see McDuffie come off of one side, and Johnson blitzing off.
He's always their quicker defensive tackle. He gets on the edge and gets right around Dylan Radins for that sack. I mean,
and is all over this run before it can get started. In the backfield.
Bull rushed his way through there and finishes off Daniels.
See if they couldn't knock him out, and instead Tua, protection overall not bad. He's right there. He's got time. and just cannot.
Guys coming back healthy has been overwhelmed at times by Miami.
Well, they got overwhelmed because it's just totally.
Come out, and here's Keon White coming up.
He's just used a speed move. He's got a heck of a spin move, too. I saw him do a move on Penei Sewell.
This is one of those you just can't explain it, and here's why. All week long, all Baltimore talked about was we have to block teams.
But because he is so quick and so aggressive, he's able to win. And that time he got around him there on third down. Great play.
Off, because if he hits Woods in stride, I mean,
it's a little bit of them. And what's crazy is they're sliding to Lamb. If you're Kendall Lamb, you can't get beat outside.
Just look at the effort here by Bosa.
Their second timeout.
Just retracing. They call that coming out of the stack. When you explode that much really into the defense, nothing Swift can do. Again,
one-on-one with him, and don't give Steele any help. Eventually, Hunter's going to get home. They had a back in the backfield.
6.5 sacks if they give him the full one there. But the last couple of games, he has simply just been dominant. You see,
untouched. He's been a great addition to this unit. Now, they don't have Will Anderson.
The tight end, that's a big-time negative play. Terrific job with the physicality at the point of attack.
He has to help Abe Lucas here on the right side. No one comes. Charbonnet's got to take that edge of Bosa off.
If he didn't get him, it was going to be somebody else. Fulton was sitting right there.
Derek Stingley nearly had his second interception of the night.
Yeah, and I think he probably should have.
These unusual, when he's off balance, changing the arm angle, throws.
He's right down here at the bottom of the screen. And this is just a hustle sack. He got the chip from the tight end, gets around the tackle.
Hines Allen's the unblocked player at the top, and they're just counting on him staying.
Coming across by Joe Alt, never got there to pick him up. They're in a pinball machine. Bang, bang, right to the quarterback. They do all these stunts, and they're all so quick. And their reaction and
got to call those misdirections when you feel like they're there. It's not necessarily a call and run type play. And
excuse me, Juice Scruggs, he just doesn't have his eyes up. Or
Jones almost got to him here, Tone.
Well, if you're going to leave him one-on-one, he is going to wreck the game. And that is a mistake right there for Buffalo. If you're going to go ahead and throw the football.
Give them credit. Jesse Minter, they have been down here all night. If the Bengals could have scored touchdown. How about Bud Dupree adding to the party here, coming around the edge, and he has been getting a lot of.
And now Mike McDonald, he's going to take a timeout and now try to take advantage of this second and real long, working on the top.
In a tough spot, they're having to help up here, and all these stunts are starting to get home inside. So Tui Pelotu just right up there.
If in the blocking scheme up front that Ben Powers felt like he thought Luke Wattenberg.
Gary here at the top of the screen going on Jones, and that is a power rush from an explosive man. They need him.
Well, this is what you want from Fisk up top, and they're using that level rush. They never get behind the quarterback, and then he snaps back up as soon as he sees.
Zach Martin, the all-pro player for many years, who's tasked with blocking Tim Southern.
They're going to put a spy in here, and that's going to keep Herbert from taking off and running with this thing. It was Hendrickson that got the pressure first, and then unbelievable plays. Watch the shooting, the gap right through here, bouncing, diving. Man. What a from Brandon Graham. Watch the double arm swat straight down, and Warren McClendon had no chance, literally.
Career in Minnesota.
Watch the speed here, just the speed and the one inside hand wipe.
Physical nature of this Eagles, I was going to say defense, but team.
Yes.
For Miami, it's a loss of 9.
And the Patriots, they even give him some help. They put their tight end over there on the edge.
A count on his aggressiveness to go flat and not
to step up in the pocket where he is met by Cansey right there. That is a terrific.
And that's energy. That's the matchup we keep talking about. Are you going to help out? Tight in there initially, a little push to try to help out Darnell Washington, but that's not enough against Myles Garrett. Dan Moore,
he say quickly, look how fast he is past Wanya Morris, who almost wasn't even out of his stance before Wanham was
a bit undersized for the interior, but wins with sudden and just that quick movement, especially that initial burst off the ball. One-on-one with Dan Moore, so instead of working out here, he works to the inside. Now he gets matched up there against a rookie, Zach Frazier, the center.
And
They end up making him the read guy. So often when you have an elite defensive end, Joe, it's a lot easier to...
The outside, see 45 there, he goes to extend, trying to wall him off, not allowing, it looked like he was trying to get inside leverage.
They are squeezing hard, trying to not let Jalen Hurts get outside that pocket. You could see on the outside it was Jared.
Normally you just say, 3rd and 1, easy pickup for Jackson at halftime and get looked at.
I'm still in a little disbelief they went for it.
Again, as much about the coverage, Jim Schwartz is mixing up these looks so well. So showing man, sometimes pre-snap show man, and then get out of it and play some zone. They're playing. Interesting guy to talk to, and he always tells us, on 3rd down, how about that get off? He goes, I try to almost find the victim. Like, who am I feeling?
He is unstoppable in situations like this, and Neal has struggled with that.
How about Crosby? Al, you're going to love this. Crosby gets to him, works around and pushes around Taylor. Good coverage. How does he look? Look at him. He's climbing around at his ankles.
Because Hubbard was at tight end, and look at the play he makes.
And this 3rd down defense is so challenging. They got 2 linebackers inside, and they got Parsons. Who do you block? Well, we definitely have to block.
He's done this same move up and around this entire game.
Going on Schmitz, Kendricks.
These guys get upfield so fast, and right there you leave these holes. That play usually
All the way across the formation here. He starts on the far side, sees a little movement inside, sees Purdy outside, but that big guy can run.
Run it right up the gut and pick this up. Myles Garrett comes right off the edge, unblocked.
And you just take a look at Verse, the rookie. We've talked about him all game long. He's going against Penning, and he's pushing him back into Derek Carr. And then that's one thing I liked about Jared Verse.
There, you got Fox coming off the edge there on Guyton, and just...
Armstead doesn't know where he is, and good awareness by Van Ness. You rip, you pull, you get away from...
And good pass rush again. These offensive lines both have been...
Saints getting pressure up front. Not really falling for this run fake. You see Carl Granderson, he beats the block of Kyron Williams. Gets a hit.
That ball gets tipped up in the air.
Trent, I'm here thinking about Younghoe Koo.
That's like the hidden kind of special nature of Kyler Murray. He's almost virtually impossible to sack.
One more time, the youngsters getting off the ball. Enigbare, Armstead just late. Mosby playing defensive end, and he's watched that same tape too. He knows they love to get the ball to Achane. He's up the field.
Now his vision's filled with white shirts. There's TJ Watt taking away his vision first with a jump. Coverage.
You know what was weird was you heard in the audio single to number 2. That's Wilson, and I don't know what Blake Brendel, the left guard,
that Jacksonville wants to go to today. They want to stay inside. The way that Houston plays their defense, their wide 9 defensive end.
Point out, and Karlaftis gets the sack, but it's really the coverage. He eventually does a good job with that relentless attitude. We want
Colts all over it. Now May has to hold the ball, and that's where DeForest Buckner, who has been one of the top. And again, this secondary has really done a good job. This is an explosive, aggressive,
the best in the business doing that.
And it's also the hustle.
In that linebacker spot, but on those passing situations, he'll line up at defensive end and just
anticipate. Look, McLeod tries to get him, and there's just nothing he can do. James Red.
I think we're going to go right here. Well, you got to kick out one more. There he is. You got 2 Josh Allen Hines Allens coming at you. But again, that's just that mental clock.
Watch him. He's going to be on the. He's right over the middle of the thing, and then as he switches around, he's able to get an open.
Williams and Carter just push the pocket and disrupt everything. And I'm telling you right now,
the juggernaut in the future.
But you see just this defensive line.
That's not even a blitz. This is just, I'm better than you, and I'm going to show you right now. Just a hand swat right there, and you could see the way.
Exactly right. He's just lined up one-on-one with the right tackle, Brian O'Neill, and they only rushed 3 guys.
And Trey Hendrickson, who's been relatively quiet tonight.
It creates a little bit of one-on-one, so Gary benefits off that. Right a matchup with Sewell, comes off of Sewell. There's the blitz from 7, and then
right foot And you got to use a staggered.
Yeah, I tell you, you put tight ends on some of these edge rushers. And, hey, we're going to put 2 of them over there. Well, yeah, that's not going to help you. I mean, it's a gift to be an elite. Watch number 90. Watch him jump through. He doesn't use any leverage to get through that. That is a heck of an athletic play. Being able to land on your feet, still having your arms extended.
With the be quiet crowd right there. Great spin move. Finishes it on time in sacks per game. TJ Watt is 1.
It's a loss of 11. By the way, that's
throwing shoulder and blowing out your shoulder. Fortunately for Cincinnati, Joe Burrow gets back up.
Again, look, 77 is one of the best centers in a game. He just olays him with quickness. They are getting off of the
for the sack. So we have seen this a couple of times now. Get up the field, retrace.
It looked like the Grady Jarrett that I remember playing against in all those NFC South battles. Like
brought up the blitz, 47 right in the middle. You also see a good get off there by 95, Pat O'Connor, enough to affect Love.
Times it perfectly, and the back's got to step up. And it's actually a really good throwaway by Jameis on this.
Yeah, so he beats the left guard, Blake Brendel. He's right here. Coleman's on the top, and he just wins coming off the inside. He initially beats Garrett Bradbury, the center, and
to get almost parallel to the ground and then stay on your feet.
They're going to try and hit him from all angles because right now they are trying to make sure they get some help on the outside. Yeah, you wouldn't pick that name out, would you? But he's been sensational. And what happens here, Mike, is they put him down.
We're not getting, some of the key players blocked here. I mean, that's Cam Jordan. He's going down inside. And for Daniel Bellinger, you've got.
I think that's going to be the 2 Chargers edge players. Bosa and Mack, they're going to hit each other after they're both chasing Mahomes.
Loss of 6.
Miscommunication right here. Washington comes in the game. You got to block down on.
Yeah, heads up play, and the wingspan of Crosby is well documented. Good instincts. He sees the quick pass.
Interception return for a touchdown by a 300-pounder in NFL history. 92 yards.
On his shoulder, J.C. Latham just beat.
You want your running backs to block him, and he's just so hard. This time it's Aaron Jones. He's big, he's physical, he's almost like an extra defensive line.
Come flying in the screen right here across Juergens, and Juergens was passing him off to Mekhi Becton.
And now here you go again. 2nd down and 15.
Difference. You're expecting man from the 49ers, but now Caleb Williams, he's seeing a different look. Setting the edge. Gross Matos does a nice job collapsing the pocket. Darnell Wright tries to extend and
also some pressure.
Watch Mafe, 53. He's the one who forces it initially. Ryman tries to get to him. He shoves it.
One of the strongest guys on this football team. Watch him just slant in here and go make this play, and then it looks like a rodeo. Right?
You'll see him get off the ball and work with that power into that backfield, and it frees up those backers as well. Rashawn Gary able to come off the edge, help clean that up.
I tell you what, again, a nice job here, getting off to the side. It's one of the things that we see. That's a big guy.
Defense. We saw the Chargers with that, with a couple of.
Donovan Wilson as well. And Tanner Hudson comes over, picks up Donovan Wilson and Hudson. But with 3rd and long, they then rush only 4, drop into coverage. Osai fights right through the double team there. Just does, you got Tyler Smith. But out there on the edge, Udoga.
Spin move on Carman. Watch right up here. The spin move. Jackson Carman sets to the outside. Danielle Hunter steps with the outside foot, but then spins back to the inside, and there's nowhere for Tua to escape.
Danielle Hunter
will need some time to develop downfield, but at the top of the screen, you got Smith just working over there on Moore, and he just can't, on Sweat. And Sweat just closing down the pocket so quick.
Poona Ford got himself a pancake and made the tackle. Gets Bredesen thrown down there and then takes down the halfback. And I don't know, I mean, that's a large man, so I don't know if he's just tired.
A quick first step that if you're going to have a puller come down on him, you have to be prepared. You have to know that you're blocking 98, and he's going to be up the field quick.
He was real frustrated, Daryl, last week.
He was going for it there. Not really the chip from Calcaterra that Johnson is looking for. He's counting on way more than that. And Watt, oh my God, how does he hold on to that ball?
Here by LeMaya right there. Good move to the inside, but that is just a one-on-one opportunity spin move and no chance whatsoever for Geno Smith.
Wyatt in his third year.
Ed Oliver has been dominant. We just talked about it. You said it, Jim. And look at this. Just completely pancakes one of the best centers in the game. And Russo does the rest. Those are the two dominant players so far this season. They've
down by multiple scores. He gets one-on-one pass protection. Ike Ekwonu, former first-round pick, and just Bryce Young, again, he has no chance. The fumble to start the half against Oso Digizua. Yes, he fumbles. He's got to hold on to the ball.
Playing time here over the last several weeks. This is not an easy defense by Brian. 58. He's the one-on-one. And Dallas Turner shows some of the ability that he has. He's thrown for less.
I mean, he makes contact with Burrow just as Burrow steps. He's still in bounds. And so you watch, he initiates contact. Burrow's still in bounds, and you can't expect.
Joseph basically coming right up the middle here, and he sort of gets tripped up. And then Baker tries to do the high hurdle thing and go up over the top of him. Spin around and just grab anything you can.
He's going on something, because I thought he was early on that one as well. He was back off the line a little bit.
This is just, you see, he has to get around Njoku off the edge, and then it's just one-on-one with Ifedi over there at left tackle.
Jordan Phillips, part of the group that helped throw off the timing as he got right into the body of Gibson.
Does this as well as anybody. Get hands on the football. Eyes on the quarterback, gets the deflection.
Oh, you're completely surprised. Look at him win, and then they set the edge on the other side.
That is the basics of their four-man pass rush. Now, when they get into a five-man rush, sometimes they'll fire and be able to do all those things.
You know, he's got the size and the power, but he's a technician. Good job with the hands. He gets off the block and just closes in.
Nice play by Karlaftis.
I think this is what Vance Joseph loves about this edge pressure. It's the depth that he has. That's the fourth sack this year.
And they're only rushing 4, and they get enough pressure to force C.J. Stroud to throw it away. It's not a blitz, but it's enough pressure by Jones. Forward pass, but Karlaftis getting the pressure, beating Blake Fisher, the right tackle. We talked to Chris Jones. He's going to get good push. He beats the center Patterson, and then Mixon
knocks it down.
Yeah, he does a good job of just working to the outside against McGlinchey. Wins, and then just there's the athletic. Obviously, tight end Troutman. Watch him release. Watch the left tackle Bowles, kind of in no man's land. Miscommunication.
Karlaftis working on Blake Fisher, the rookie. He forces the action. Kind of through his man. Again, when you're running a screen like that, you just want to kind of disengage from a guy quick.
Coming off the edge right here, you see how Garrett fights through the tight end and then bends the corner. In their first game, he was quiet against.
He is right there, 53, unblocked. Caleb McGarry late getting back out there, and it shows you.
Ball, he has to understand my slide is to my left, my hot is to my right.
He is so good. That's where he makes an impact on the game. He's having to play a little deeper tonight.
Very much so.
So the offensive line, the center calls, he's going to go to the left. The problem is they need one extra guy to the right. It's a miscue. They walked up 6.
Landon Roberts, one of the great run stoppers in the NFL. Kind of gets through the block, and that's a big man, Michael Pierce. What they're trying to do is run a screen pass off this play action fake, and the ball's going to go back over to the running back.
And you said he's been on some kind of run, Jim. Look at that move to get through and then to still slide forward.
These games are for a guy in his situation, trying to go in there and play well.
Stop. They really sold out to stop the run. There was very few players in pass coverage, and Hayward just splitting the double team right there while the single on Stanley.
So as he's looking to go to the front side of the run,
there's no reason to overset. He has his left guard, Nick Allegretti, right next to him. There's no need for Biadasz to over.
Quadin Muhammad. Here's Zadarius, and what he's going to run is called a pick game. You're seeing that everyone is picking the offensive lineman.
If it's struggle, Jeffrey Simmons just keeps playing.
It's just a right rip there against Glowinski. And Anthony Richardson did a good job to hold on to that football right there. Simmons went right for the elbow.
But this really kind of breaks down the play when you have to worry about catching it first.
Is developing. Watch him. He's going to go up all the way under and come scot-free. And he doesn't fall for the fake. And then he gets back up, that extra effort.
Once again, they're going right back to the well. Bring two on the back, make these two, sort out three of them. And Van Ginkel's going to loop inside there. Boom, work the pick game, and they eventually get to the quarterback.
Miles Cole, you're going to see him coming in right here on the left side of your screen. He just beats Bowers right there on the inside move and is able to get in the backfield.
Well, watch Van Ginkel right here. He's going to get attention from two offensive linemen, the right guard and right tackle, Lucas and Laumea. And then when Lucas comes off to block the edge, there goes Van Ginkel.
Inside, back outside, takes the hit, spins, has...
Thibodeau is going against Bernard Ryman, and Brian Burns had been having his way.
So the pressure brought inside that time by Ellis really set up the sack.
It's a bad sack by Jared Goff. You got to get rid of this football. But Nick Bosa just continues to play at an elite level. You know, he goes right through.
The Miami Dolphins go empty here, so the rookie Patrick Paul is on an island, and he gets.
And they're going to go for it. The Lions are on fourth down.
I believe. Watch to the left of your screen. Nice move with the hands. It goes past him. And sometimes if it
goes down into that C gap, which is between the tackle and the tight end, and just a little too much. We saw Travis.
Second time now that they've built this five-man front. So what you're able to do is you can really set the edges.
To get the football out of your hands. See the pressure coming from all angles there. Always tough to outrun.
Calais Campbell, the old vet, the old head in that locker room, one of the leaders despite only being there for 9 or 10 months or so.
Back in with the power to the near shoulder, knocks Gibson down by pushing his face mask, and then gets the sack.
Of this defense, it's the edge rushers and just miscommunication. You've got two backup tackles in the game.
The coverage sack right there. There was nobody open. Russ had a good
check out that
for
bull
a minute,
rush.
but that bull rush, that's tough. And then he just loses it on the ground, ball out.
Oluwatimi, the center, pulls around to try to kick him out. There's 51, but showing that strength. Again, often we look at these guys on the edge.
A lot of deep zone coverage, and he's just not having anywhere to go with the ball. Nice job here, just tucking it, picking up enough to at least make this. Yeah, this time it's Will Anderson, the other half of that duo, along with Danielle Hunter coming in.
When the ball is tipped up in the middle of the field and it's like slow motion as it drops to the ground.
The 43.
Well, we want to get rid of the ball quickly. You see how he takes one step there and tries to look out to it.
He's going against Brian Burns. He's got two guys on him, beats Kylan Granson, gets around Matt Conclauset.
Haven't seen enough of that here in his rookie season. This is what he was drafted for. Remember at Alabama.
If he starts coming on, watch out. I mean, he ran right through right tackle. Watch this. There's vintage Von Miller. Just pushes Carter Warren down.
Getting to this offensive line, especially in the interior, you see they get Merrick involved.
Played the little game right here. Come back inside, and there it was. Had to let Armstrong go.
Defenders into the face of their quarterback at a higher rate than this Houston offensive line.
Clean block. It lands right in front of Russell.
In the first game, Anthony Nelson made the key play to force the fumble against Chuba Hubbard.
Loss of 5.
Loss of 5 on the play. Second and 15.
First guy through was Jalen Reeves-Maben, who came back off IR, activated after a neck injury.
You're going to see him, he's on the top, just off off your screen to the right. And again, for a young player to be this good in the passing game, that's probably more expected, but brings them a little physical element against the run. And listen, it's not easy bringing down Derrick Henry, and seems like this Houston defense, this entire Houston sideline.
Second team All-Pro season last year.
Okay, see Matabike right here. He's lined up. This is the backup right guard, Kendrick Green. Shaq Mason, the longtime veteran, he got hurt last week in that Kansas City game on Saturday. So Kendrick Green now, there's been a lot of moving parts all season.
At Penix, you're going to see the loop back inside here, and he would have hit directly right into Michael Penix had that hold not taken.
Look at what Cam Hayward does on Cordell Volson. And then Hayward and Herbig.
You know, that's what the good ones do, and he keeps the hands off him, gets it right around.
So having to push through, I think that was Trevor Keegan.
And he's come over and filled in the gap. Aiden Hutchinson still leads this team in sacks, and he hasn't played since October.
Second
one for him.
Oh, yeah, he can play the pass, but watch him in the run game. Jex Lemieux, and then, oh my God.
You can't figure out why he didn't make the Pro Bowl, right? Career high in tackles for loss, 10 sacks now on the season.
I tell you, when you take a shot like this early in a game.
Ooh, you can't miss number 11. Running the hoop around the side with Coleman right there. Jaden Daniels is slippery, but not slippery.
Inside, he tore him up on last time. Laporta's going to take a shot at him first, and then they're going to come right back with Decker, and neither one could stop him. He has.
Burrow's getting the ball out so quickly, and he just gets his hands up, makes a heck of a play. Whatever's happening down the field, he immediately is just looking, how can I get rid of this down? He went through Cordell Volson earlier for a sack on Burrow, and just a heck of a player. Mike Tomlin challenged him.
Defensive coordinator Zach Orr. Is that real?
Yeah, it is real. I mean, the sky's the limit for this young man. And him together with David Ajabo behind Tavius Robinson and Kyle Van Noy, they have just got depth.
You have to pay me a lot of money to throw a wide receiver screen to Van Ginkel's side. Oh, he had it.
He's basically unblockable here in the middle of the defense. Got two guys on him, Young, Lemieux, and then falls off.
Chance to try to get a field goal and get some more points.
Bottom of the screen, Harold Landry. That's a nice move against the rookie Blake Fisher.
And if you want to know how an edge player can have 2 pick sixes on the season, this is it. He's just anticipating.
Now take a look at Sealer. Now it's his turn. He's going to now be the lead blocker on the TT stunt. Watch the job he does, now allowing Calais Campbell. So
it's hard to lose yards on a quarterback sneak, but I'm not sure he gained any yardage at all.
You see how wide this Bronco team is. They run a TE, just switch the edge rusher in the inside. You go out.
Just supposed to be a jet sweep, and they're trying to hand it off. And Levis can't get the ball in there. And then what a run by Barnett. Get out of my way. I'm going to the end zone. Get off me. You're not stopping me. I'm getting in the end zone.
I got to tell you, Michael Pierce from
ones, right? And you have Seattle getting very aggressive defensively. They send 5 guys.
Yeah, this is the job by Hendrickson, and big players make big plays when the games are on the line. He goes past Dan Moore once again and collapses the pocket.
Just look at this.
What are we talking about here?
Yeah, look, I mean, that's what you want. Now you've got it. Watch it how they are able to reset the line of scrimmage. Look at that flat back. You see they take Jack Conklin and they just eject him. Put him about 1 or 2 yards back.
Right tackle, he doesn't squeeze it. So Patrick Queen, he's got a free run. And that's just the inexperience of him at right tackle. He sticks with T.J. Watt. You hate to turn him loose, but you can't.
See him just right here on the edge. He is sniffing those things out. I played him one time.
Well, the first pressure is going to come here, and then you're going to get the cleanup sack on the inside there. Watch that. Hill thumper in the run game on the goal line like that. I love it.
7-year veteran and a terrific stop right here.
For a loss of about 4. I want you to hit that straight downhill. Don't run outside. That's actually really what Kansas City
on a run action. If you have an end man on the line, you have to go out. One of the tight ends has to block out that fast jet motion. You see A-Chain, he's coming across trying to get his attention. They go pin and pull action away, and McDonald just doesn't even flinch.
Wentz just doesn't see him. Keep going, keep going. He's lucky he didn't.
So what is happening? Here it is again. This little cross blitz inside opens everything up because now it's just a one-on-one block on the outside for Cam Robinson.
They're explosive, they're dynamic. Again, most young guys come into the league and they can rush the passer. You get drafted in the first round in the NFL for rushing the passer.
Well, here's Budda Baker. He's running over here like he's going to go cover, and then you're just going to see him explode into the backfield. See that motion go, and he says, no, I ain't following the motion. I'm not man-to-man. I'm blitzing off the edge. I'll turn that.
Right there, look at him dip the edge. And you're going to have a hard time going against this front.
Yes, watch the left side here. Armstead, he's battling through at the left tackle position, some knee problems, but that's a nice line stunt. So they call it a stick stunt. So on the snap, you're off your defensive line.